A while back, I started an ambitious project known as the Year of Myst, where I would play through all the games in order over the period of a year. Well, it's been well over a year since then, and I wanted to do an overview of the series, one that contains some lore and explanation of the plot, since my original search on YouTube didn't really return any results. You may be asking yourself why, to which I'll respond, the Myst series was so influential in my childhood that it deserves to be talked about. I hope that this will shed light on these games more, and that those who would not normally play them would instead give them a chance. This video is going to be a little bit different than the others I will be doing, as I will be going through one of the 3 books for backstory and adding some of my own speculation into the mix. This overview, as well as others, will cover the backstory needed to better understand the games, and will contain major plot spoilers. So if you have not played the games yet, I highly recommend stopping the video, going and playing them, and then coming and watching these videos after for explanation. But before I get into the first game in the series, I need to talk about what happens before. There are 3 published books that have come from the Myst games. They are the Book of Tiana, the Book of Atrus, and the Book of Dunny. And for the purpose of this video, I will only be talking about the Book of Atrus. The other 2 books will be discussed later in possible other videos. So with that said, let's turn the page and get started. As you may have guessed, the Book of Atrus follows, well, Atrus. He lives with his grandmother Anna in what is referred to as the Cleft, which is a dwelling chiseled out of the rock that makes up the hillside of an inactive volcano. Since they are nomadic in their lifestyle, Anna raises Atrus on her own and teaches him in the ways and the heritage of an ancient civilization known as the Dunny. We follow them for a while during pivotal parts in Atrus' life as he grows and learns life lessons in seeing and understanding the bigger picture. This concept that Anna teaches him plays a big part later in life. When Atrus reaches his teenage years, his father Gehn returns out of nowhere to claim his son and take him back to the Dunny homeland to study the remnants and help rebuild their civilization. Anna argues with Gehn that Atrus belongs with her, but Gehn is firm that the boy go with him, promising that they will return someday. So the next day they leave and descend through a series of tunnels found in the mouth of the volcano, and eventually they reach the cavern, the home of the Dunny, where they live on the island of Kavir. Since Gehn is attempting to rebuild the fallen Dunny civilization, he begins to teach Atrus what he knows about the art. Without getting too in-depth, the art is an amazing talent that the Dunny held secret. It is a method used to build other worlds known as ages, using a special-made book and ink, along with the words and phrases to describe the age itself. These linking books, as they are called, allowed people to travel between their world and the created ages. The art is complex, but it has a simple underlying principle, a science of putting down a precisely structured equation of words. Each equation needs an underlying concept as its foundation around which the age can develop. There is a lot of speculation and understanding of the art itself, but I am not going to get into it in this video itself. It may merit its own video in the future, but we'll see what happens with that. Alright, back to the story. Time has passed and Atrus has wanted to return to the Cleft, as was promised before they had left for the cavern. He confronts Gehn after supper about the matter, and we learn that Gehn never intended to return. Gehn explains that he had to remove Atrus from Anna, as she was poisonous to him. Atrus, of course, does not believe, so Gehn tells him a story to prove his point. It is a story that Anna had told Atrus many times before, about Viavis and the fall of the Dunny. After the truth of Anna is told, Atrus argues with his father, standing up for his grandmother, enrages Gehn further, and is seen as betrayal to everything Gehn has done for him. He locks Atrus in his room for his insolence. 3 days pass when Gehn finally returns. He has decided to forgive Atrus this one time, and has him promise one thing. He tells Atrus that he must promise to never question his word again, or to scheme behind his back. As he says, "I am master here, my word is law." From this point on, we start to see the true nature of Gehn. As Atrus continues to grow in his studies, Gehn brings him to one of the ages he has created, which he calls his 37th age. The age is a beautiful island with tall, rocky outcrops on the perimeter and a low lagoon towards the center. The age is also the first age which Atrus has visited that is inhabited by other humans. Gehn tells Atrus he is to stay here and observe for a while, which will help him with his writings. He also tells Atrus he wants him to see how they inspire awe within their ages. Atrus, of course, is confused, and Gehn explains that they are seen as gods in their ages, and why shouldn't they be? For without them, these ages would not exist. As he explores the island, Atrus discovers a crack in the earth, one that had not been there previously. He tells his father of it, and Gehn decides to leave to investigate. In the meantime, Atrus is to go fishing with the natives. As they sail out, Atrus sees a wall of white mist coming from the surface of the ocean. We learn that before Gehn had come to the age, the inhabitants worshipped the white mist as their god. When Atrus returns to his father and tells what had happened, Gehn explains that the experiment of this age has failed. Age 37 is unstable. Atrus asks if he will fix this age, to which Gehn replies, no. However, he will deal with the white mist. Gehn leaves once again, and when he returns, the white mist is gone. Gehn uses this miracle to further solidify that they are gods, and tells the natives that the white mist will be thought or spoken of no longer. As we continue reading, we learn that Gehn is making alterations to age 37. As he does so, he changes the age itself, and when they return once again for a celebration, age 37 is very different. The lake in the center of the island has dried up, and the surrounding ocean has receded, leaving the island on its pedestal high above. When the natives of the age confront Gehn and beg him to fix their world, he tells them he won't. He tells the islanders this is their punishment, a demonstration of his power. We learn that Gehn had brought Atrus back to this age for the god-crowning ceremony. In a fearsome display of his impatience, Gehn cuts the ceremony short and goes to return to Dunny. The natives once again beg him to show mercy and save them by bringing back the waters, but he commands them to leave and return to their dwellings. Atrus begs him to save the age as well, and once they are back in Dunny, Gehn does. Atrus returns to see that the age is fixed, just to make sure that everything is back to normal. However, when approached by one of the natives, they speak in a strange language and no longer recognize Atrus. He flees back to Dunny, and when he confronts Gehn about it, Gehn throws the book in a fire, stating that it was defective, and that he had wasted enough time on those people. The link between the ages destroyed, never to be seen again. This is the true nature of Gehn. He has a god complex, has zero care about what he creates, only that he is worshipped for it. This lack of care goes into his writings as well. After the destruction of age 37, Atrus plans to leave. Once Gehn wakes up and realizes that Atrus is gone, he pursues him. Capturing him once again, this time, he locks him in the basement of Kvir, with only one way out, a linking book to Genn's fifth age, also known as Riven. It's important to note that Atrus has a linking book back to Kvir, but the prison room it links to has nowhere to go but back to Riven. Luckily, Riven is an inhabited age. It is here that we meet Katrin, or Catherine, as we will come to call her later. We learn that Gehn has selected certain natives from Riven to be part of the guild. He has been teaching them how to copy books to help him in his endeavor to restore the Dunny. Gehn has had this guild for over 4 years now, and it has grown in number to 10 members. Catherine is one of them, and is his best student, and the one he has selected to take as his wife. Atrus does not know about Catherine's appointed marriage yet, but she comes to him with a book stolen from Genn's study. He learns that Gehn takes them to his study on Kvir while they copy books. She has many other books back on Riven, since Gehn trusts her. She explains that Atrus must help fix Riven as it is unstable and falling apart. She does not tell Atrus that she is to be wed, but instead gives him a deadline of 30 days. Atrus vows to help, and together they devise a plan to trap Gehn and escape Riven together. Atrus and Catherine devise a plan to trap Gehn in Riven. First, Atrus would experiment with some blank books to see how he could write fixes to Riven. Once that was complete, they would then find Genn's linking book back to Dunny and destroy it. In the meantime, Catherine has been working on a new age that they could inhabit together, one they could escape to after the plan had been enacted. She calls it Myst, and with the help of Atrus, they move all of the books from Riven that she had taken to Myst for safekeeping. Atrus spends the next week creating ages which he can experiment with. He uses the experiment to find the words and phrases he needs to write into Riven to stabilize the age. Catherine manages to steal the Riven linking book and deliver it to Atrus' prison room back on Kavir. He makes the necessary changes to stabilize the age, and the book is returned. The next step then is set in motion, and Catherine shows Atrus the places where Gehn hides his linking books. She leaves to go back to Myst and wait for Atrus. And Atrus builds a fire and starts to destroy Gehn's linking books one by one. He plans to link away with the final book while holding it over the fire so that when he links away, the book will fall in, destroying any way for Gehn to follow. However, as he is reaching for the last book, he is knocked out. When Atrus comes to, he is near Gehn's temple on Riven. It is here that Atrus learns that Catherine is set to marry his father. Gehn threatens the people of Riven that if they disobey him like Atrus has, he will destroy their world. The people of Riven are scared, and Atrus makes the mistake of confessing to having fixed the world to put them at ease. It was Gehn's plan all along to get him to fix the world. Catherine was in on it as well, it appears. Atrus was betrayed by them both, and as Gehn disowns Atrus as his son, the ground starts to tremble, and a great crack in the earth forms at the temple steps. As the sky starts to turn black and the earth shakes, Catherine reveals that she has not betrayed Atrus. Instead, it was all part of the plan. She holds 2 linking books hostage and demands that Gehn let Atrus go. She drops one book into the new fissure that is formed at the temple steps. It immediately gets disintegrated from the heat coming from the crack. She throws the other book high into the air so that it'll fall into the fissure, giving Atrus and her time to escape as Gehn dives for the book. He is unable to save the book as it too is destroyed. As the two escape, we find out that Catherine has had help with this plan, and that Anna has been helping her. As they continue to move, they come across another fissure, but this one is different. Instead of glowing red from the heat beneath, this one glows blue. Air is being sucked into the fissure, and on closer inspection, the hole is an intense dark filled with stars. Catherine pulls the Myst book from a bag she has been carrying and links away. Gehn catches up to Atrus just as Catherine vanishes. He demands the book. He tries to convince Atrus that he should give the book to him because he is his son, because he has always loved him, and Atrus needs Gehn to teach him. Atrus does not believe anything Gehn says and steps into the fissure. As he starts to fall, he opens the cover to Myst and links away, letting the book fall into the starry expanse, trapping Gehn in a crumbling Riven forever. The final chapter of the book is short and tells that Anna had followed Atrus and Gehn from the moment they left the cleft. She had watched his progress on Kavir and had planned to meet him when he escaped towards the tunnels that led back to the surface, but Gehn got him first. She saw Gehn knock him out and bring him back to Dunny. It was then she knew that she had to act. Anna went to confront Gehn, but instead met Catherine in his study. The two worked out a plan together, so Gehn would not be suspect of Catherine and Atrus' doings. She then helped Catherine write Myst, so they could live together safe from Gehn's wrath. It is also revealed that the two women had caused the catastrophic events that happened on Riven, when the fissures started to open. But they planned ahead, so that after time, the effects would reverse themselves, thus making Gehn's prison stable once more. It is here that the game Myst picks up. The last few sentences in the Book of Atrus are the opening lines to the game.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned.
You can see the book falling through space and eventually landing in front of you, and this is where the next venture begins. Thanks to everyone who watched this video. I hope you enjoyed my explanation of the Book of Atrus, and of course if I missed anything, feel free to throw that in the comments below. If you would like to see more, please let me know by liking the video, or even subscribing if you feel like it. In the next video, I will be discussing the story of Myst, the first game. But until then, as always, bye-bye.